Hello and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. My name is Martin, and this is my Let's Play with all my space junk that someday we'll have to figure out something to do with. And it's been a bit. Whoa. Oh wow, almost 500 million kilometers, almost half a billion kilometers. That's very impressive. Let's actually check Hob 1 out, and see what kind of view they have from half a billion kilometers away. Okay, the sun's pretty small way out here. Not that button, this button, maybe? Yeah, there we go. That's a good view. Yeah, something like this. Jonely Kerman way out here. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Certainly, I can't see any flickering of planets. Wow. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty far out for me. This is by far the farthest I've ever been. So that's pretty awesome. And yeah, okay, good. Don't accidentally end the flight. So a couple things I was thinking about, maybe a few things after that last challenge, which was awesome. I do want to think about rescuing these folks, these two guys. That's going to take. Also, that could work into the challenge for this week. This week's challenge is kind of an extension of the first 0.17 challenge. The first one was just land on another planet. This one is return from another planet. So again, no mods too, which is. I think I can get away with using the camera mod, which I kind of like. Okay, we're coming back in here. Silly crashes. I forgot it. For whatever reason, mine crashes when you stay too long on the tracking station screen. So yeah, probably would have to design it. I'm thinking design a new rocket because I think I could do better than the Scalzi system now for going to Vall and rescuing those folks. Another thing I am thinking is, oh yeah, trying to lathe space plane again. Maybe do a bit of a redesign on the plane, put some RCS on it. And I'm just thinking maybe if I put parachutes on it and I can parachute the plane down, because the parachuting worked really well in the Reddit challenge, the Cosmonaut challenge. So maybe if I do something similar to that on lathe, where it's parachute down and then eject the parachute. So that's something I might test as well. And then I'm just thinking of a new space plane as well. I've kind of got a picture in my head of a really neat looking plane maybe that could be fun to try out. Oh, and sorry, there's one more thing. On the Space Reddit this morning, someone posted a Werner von Braun picture of something he kind of thought about, designed or whatever, kind of a reusable 3-stage space ship, which looked awesome. And can't really do it without mods and stuff in Kerbal Space Program, but it looked pretty cool, and I thought maybe I just design something that looked a little bit like it and see if it flew well or not. Anyway, so I'm going to do a bit of designing and pick a project, and I'll come back when I've decided what I'm going to work on. Okay, I am back, and my next thing I worked on was a rescue ship for the dudes on Vall. I redesigned. I didn't want to go with the Scalzi again. It's a nice proven technology, but its launch is a bit wonky, and I wanted to do this without mods to attempt to get the Reddit challenge in as well. And yeah, so I don't think I've also done a landing on another like planetary body besides the moon and Minmus without mods. So I figure it's worth a try. And so here's the Clark 2. The Clark 1 ended up being a little unwieldy and didn't. I did test it out once. It didn't make it to orbit. So I redesigned. The Clark 1 had 6 landing bits sticking out, and this one's got 3. So I went with, try to make the lander as light as possible, and then all the stages below don't have to do nearly as much work, so I get a lot more delta V out of it. So there's the lander stage, very similar to Scalzi still, but a little bit more minimal. And then the interplanetary stage is almost the same. I actually just ditched the connectors between the two of these, and it works quite well. Just sticking these two together. Don't even need any attachment besides the fuel lines. And now the big second stage. asparagus staged for maximum efficiency. And the first stage, which is possibly one of the bigger stages I've done before, especially with all the solid rocket boosters. So that's 18 solid rocket boosters, and 7 of the big engines in stacks, 3 tall in the middle. And so yeah, this is quite a good sized rocket. I think it's got the most delta V of any rocket I've launched as well. 13,673 on paper, but I think that's all vacuum delta V, not total delta V, including what it ends up with going through the atmosphere and bleeding out in the atmosphere. And I did want to make one change here as well. Yeah, move this to here. Oop. There we go. Because this is the last stage to drop off, so I want some connection still between these stages, or else it'll get a little silly on me. So maybe even I should move this one. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. So I think my plan is to launch and try to land on the moon as a test flight, and then we'll head for Vall. So let's head to the launch pad. This is also by far the tallest rocket I've ever built, and it's really neat that I made these stages well enough that it doesn't need those extension bits. What are they called? I don't know. Anyway, we have Sonson, Callow, and Jorbro. We need 2 of them. Oh, this is just a test for the moon, so we can keep all of them in. And let's see. I think the staging's all set. Some of these things get mixed up in there, but that's okay. So yeah, it's nice and stable on the launch pad. So let's head to the moon in 3, 2. Okay, well, we're in orbit. That wasn't the most efficient orbit I've ever done, for sure. But I got real distracted with that spin there. That was crazy. That was really hard to keep it on the 90 while I was trying to do the gravity turn as well. Anyway, made it. For better or worse. Better, of course. All sorts of good debris bits there. Yeah, it shouldn't be that far ahead. Did almost catch right up to some Scalzi debris. Very cool. And yeah, so we're in orbit with a good amount of fuel left too, actually. A surprising amount. I didn't think it would be that high. Oh, and somehow some of it got burned out of that bottom stage. Weird. Okay. Now we just have to wait for the moon. And I'll be back when we're there. There we have our moon encounter. And yeah, silly amounts of fuel left here, and it's really funny too because the geez, I have it open here somewhere. The I have the delta V map, and I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. So it takes somewhere around 4.5 kilometers a second to get into low Kerbal orbit. Another 0.86 to the moon. So 860 meters a second is all I needed to the moon, which is right? I was at 2200 or so, and I was just over 3000 or so when I shut down there. And then from there though, to let's see, Kerbal escape is only another, is that 90 meters a second you need, and then to Joule is another just about a kilometer a second to Joule. So yeah, this stage has got way more than I need. It's going to be another one of those, I'm going to be burning this until the last second to slow down and use as much fuel as possible to not use the fuel in the lander stage. But Vall again is half the size of Kerbal, and but no atmosphere. So when in Duna, I was assisted slightly by some atmosphere slowing down, although not much, as we saw on some of my failures. I was thinking it would be a lot more aero braking than it was, and then it turned out my guy Jober was up 3 kilometers in the atmosphere. I think he was up somewhere around this range of atmosphere. So anyway, let's fast forward to the moon, and I'll try to do a landing there similar to the way it's going to be done on Vall. It's the problem with burning too much before your periaps. I thought because of the low thrust to weight ratio on this stage, the low thrust on those atomic engines, that it would take me a lot longer to circularize. So I started burning a lot earlier. The problem with burning earlier is it brings your periaps down, and so if I'm heading back up now, so I'm past periaps, but didn't want to bring it down too much lower than this. Although I guess I didn't have too much to worry about around here. I love the moon. It's fairly easy to get to in the scheme of things to get to, and it looks awesome after they redid it that last patch, for sure. So I'm thinking somewhere around this crater to bring it down, maybe on a crater rim or so. The thing is that the guys on Vall are kind of in a really tricky spot. I landed on the side of a mountain and they slid down like toboggans. So they're not even really in that flat of a spot. So, no harm in playing around with landing on hard, difficult places. Okay, let's see what that does for us. I don't know. This contour might not seem like this is very much in terms of drop, but we'll head on in and see. I've got a ton of fuel to burn off in this stage. I'm not going to be able to burn it all. Don't want to warp too much. I think it used to be possible to accidentally warp into the moon, but I don't know. That might have been a while ago. Might be coming in a little shallow. So maybe I'll just start burning and kill off horizontal velocity now and drop down wherever I drop down. No, let's not do that. This stage should have a good amount of thrust to weight ratio, even though it's only got 3 of those arrow spikes. There's the crater rim. I just have to make it over the rim, which I should easily be able to do. I've got 500 meters a second to kill off, though, and not a ton of altitude. This isn't looking like the most ideal moon landing. Well, that was pretty good. I should be coming fairly straight down. And yeah, I'm still using this stage, which is awesome. So about 2,000 meters. Just gonna watch the angles. Okay, pretty good landing. And I left a bunch of junk on the moon. Excellent. Not as close to the crater wall as I'd hoped, but it's still viewable in the distance. Overall, I was incredibly happy with that landing. I got a little squiffy there at the end. The nav ball got a little odd, but let's see. Callow, being the commander, should get to come out. The ladders do go all the way down. I did test that earlier on, not on video, but pretty awesome. So that's the rescue ship, eh, bud? We'll get a shot of that. Back this way. There we go. Cool. Just a quick inspection here of the debris. So that's pretty awesome. The nuclear motors all died, but I guess they would have been the first to hit the ground. And so, yeah, 5 of their fuel tanks, though, there actually should be... These all should be full of fuel. Ah, that's interesting to think about. I could land here again and fully refuel quite a bit. That's 500 liters of fuel. That's what if a refuel mod, of course, need that. But debating leaving our commander here, just but it should be nice and visible on the map. Oh, and what I really should have done, I had the power. I should have dropped it off like I did on Minmus and just left it. Oh, that was silly to not do. But I guess I did want to test this stage as well, and I should see how much fuel I used here. Probably use a little bit more on Vall. But the top stages have 1,289 meters per second for this stage, and then a whopping 4,579 for the remaining interplanetary stages, which is far more than enough. Okay, let's see. Let's take off at 90 for fun, and retract the gear or the ladders. Everyone back on board. Everyone's happy. Taking off for Kerbal again in 3, 2. Oh, and I didn't check how much fuel I used either, but I'll be able to check the video, although I didn't get an exact count. It's almost half the fuel gone in this stage now. 24, 28, pretty good. And now where do we need to burn to go home? Could have burned kind of then. Still could kind of burn now. I might as well wait. That's close there. You may notice actually one of the things I also did away with that saves me tons and tons of weight is SAS. For this sort of trip, you really don't need it because I'm using the engines for control, directional control all the way up into orbit. Once I'm in orbit, I actually kind of use them the same way, if need be. Generally, I just always want to be facing prograde at that point. But and then the interplanetary stage, the nuclear rockets are gimbalable, I believe, and and then by that point anyway, the torque of the crew thing is good enough. There we go. That's our return. I'll just fast forward along for completeness, but that essentially is the end of the mission. May have to do a slight retro burn. That did come up a little bit more. 35 may not be enough to capture me at this velocity. Good things to learn about. Oh, and I guess I could try to pay attention to where I'm coming down. Oh, look at that. So close to KSC. Is there anything I can do to make that work? Let's try. I don't know if I can maintain. It looks like I can. If I go north. No, south, south, south. Nope. Am I going back up already? Jeez. Well, let's... Whoop, wrong way there. Let's do the retro burn here. Just... How is this map looking anyway? So that's a good to know. About 35 is a good altitude to somewhere around even interplanetary would bring you into a nice orbit. Whee! Oh, those are probably stuck in orbit now, aren't they? Crap. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's that's unfortunate. More debris. Oh, I know there's some of you out there that are just cringing, I'm sure, with about all the debris around here. I'm with you. I don't particularly enjoy the debris as well. There we have it. Thanks for watching. Next episode, we shall hopefully head back to Vall. My name is Martin. See you soon.